Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, AGNDD and Tell I Report topic, Trump captures Maduro. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this partially AI-generated article-based video. Live updates, U.S. captures Venezuelan leader, Trump says. President Trump announced that U.S. forces had carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and were taking President Nicolas Maduro and his wife to New York. The Trump administration had been building pressure on Mr. Maduro for months. Updated, January 3rd, 2026, 10:19 a.m. EAT, 5h ago. Anatoly Kurmanev and Tyler Pager. Anatoly Kurmanev reported from Venezuela, and Tyler Pager from West Palm Beach, FLA. Here's the latest. President Trump said on Saturday that the United States had captured the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, and was taking him to New York to face criminal charges, the stunning culmination of a months-long campaign by his administration to oust the authoritarian leader. Attorney General Pam Bondi said on social media that Mr. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, had been indicted on drug and weapons charges and will soon face the full wrath of American justice. American Special Operations Forces captured Mr. Maduro with the help of a CIA source within the Venezuelan government who had monitored his location in recent days, according to people briefed on the operation. Mr. Trump told Fox News in an interview that Mr. Maduro and Ms. Flores had been taken to the USS Iwo Jima, one of the American warships that have been prowling the Caribbean, and would be taken to New York. The swift military operation, described by Mr. Trump in a social media post as a large-scale strike inside Venezuela, came after months of threats, warnings, and accusations of drug smuggling by Mr. Trump against Mr. Maduro, whom the State Department branded the head of a narco-terrorist state. Mr. Maduro was indicted by U.S. prosecutors on federal drug trafficking charges in 2020, but Ms. Bondi's post suggested that a new indictment had been handed up that also named Mr. Maduro's wife. Venezuelan officials said in statements that Venezuelans had been killed in the strikes, but that the death and injury toll was still being assessed. Mr. Trump said on Fox News that no American troops had been killed, but suggested that some had been injured when their helicopter was hit. The Venezuelan government accused the United States of carrying out military attacks in the capital, Caracas, and other parts of the country after large explosions were reported at a military base in the city. A state of emergency was declared in response to the attacks, which occurred in Caracas and in the states of Miranda, Aragua, and La Guaira, according to a statement from the Venezuelan Communications Ministry. In a brief phone interview with the New York Times after the announcement, Mr. Trump celebrated the success of the mission to capture the Venezuelan president and his wife. A lot of good planning and a lot of great troops and great people, he said. It was a brilliant operation, actually. When asked if he had sought congressional authority for the operation or what is next for Venezuela, Mr. Trump said he would address those matters during a news conference at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence in Palm Beach, FLA. Venezuela rejects, repudiates, and denounces U.S. military aggression, the Venezuelan Communications Ministry said in a statement. It also called on all social and political forces in the country to activate mobilization plans and repudiate this imperialist attack. Mr. Maduro, a self-described socialist, has led Venezuela since 2013, and the Biden administration accused him of stealing the election that kept him in power last year. It was not immediately clear who would lead the country going forward. Venezuela's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, appeared on a state-run television station after Mr. Trump's announcement and asked Mr. Trump for proof that Mr. Maduro was still alive. In his Fox News interview, Mr. Trump declined to throw his support behind Maria Corina Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader who recently won the Nobel Peace Prize. Here's what else to know. Military buildup. Since late August, the Pentagon has amassed troops, aircraft, and warships in the Caribbean. The U.S. military has attacked many small vessels that U.S. officials maintained were smuggling drugs, killing at least 115 people. And the CIA conducted a drone strike on a port facility in Venezuela last month, according to people briefed on the operation. A broad range of experts on the use of lethal force have said that the strikes on small vessels amount to illegal extrajudicial killings, but the Trump administration has asserted they are consistent with the laws of war because the United States is engaged in an armed conflict with drug cartels. Last month, C-17 cargo planes, largely used for transporting military troops and equipment, conducted at least 16 flights to Puerto Rico from American military bases, according to flight tracking data. The U.S. Southern Command has said that some 15,000 troops are already deployed in the Caribbean, one of the largest naval deployments to the region in decades. Oil blockade. In recent weeks, the United States has also carried out a campaign against tankers carrying Venezuelan crude, throwing the country's oil industry into disarray and jeopardizing the government's main source of revenue. The United States seized one sanctioned tanker carrying oil as it sailed from Venezuela toward Asia. It intercepted and detained another oil vessel that was not under U.S. sanctions, and the U.S. Coast Guard tried to board a third tanker as it was on the way to Venezuela to pick up cargo. Cartel accusations. In March 2020, Mr. Maduro was indicted in the United States on charges that he oversaw a violent drug organization known as Cartel de los Soles. U.S. intelligence agencies have assessed that Mr. Maduro is actually at odds with one group, Tren de Aragua, and analysts say the Cartel de los Soles does not exist as a concrete organization. The term has been used to refer to the involvement of many high-ranking military officers in the drug trade, though there is no evidence that Mr. Maduro directs the effort. Maduro's security. Before the U.S. operation on Saturday, the Venezuelan president had tightened his inner circle and taken to changing beds in an attempt to protect himself from a potential targeted strike or a special forces raid. Genevieve Glatsky and Annie Carrillo contributed reporting. 5H ago. Christopher Buckley. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said in response to the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro that it is deeply shocked and strongly condemns the U.S. for recklessly using force against a sovereign state and targeting its president. The ministry also said that the U.S. actions seriously violate international law, violate Venezuela's sovereignty, and threaten the peace and security of Latin America and the Caribbean. Simon Romero. Reporting from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Maduro's inner circle appeared to survive the U.S. strikes on Venezuela. The United States captured Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores. But Mr. Maduro's inner circle appeared on Saturday morning to have survived the U.S. strikes on the country, though it was not immediately clear who was in power. Venezuela's Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, who is next in the presidential line of succession, figured among the Venezuelan officials issuing pronouncements or making public appearances after U.S. strikes on targets in the country. Reports circulated that Ms. Rodriguez was in Russia at the time of the attacks, but no official confirmation of her location was available. January 3, 2026, 10:07 a.m. ET, 5H ago. Genevieve Glatsky reporting from Bogotá, Colombia. Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa appeared to endorse the capture of Nicolas Maduro, writing on X that all the narco-Chavista criminals, your time is coming, and voicing support for Venezuelan opposition leaders Maria Corina Machado and Edmundo González Urrutia. 5H ago. Robert Jimison, reporting on Congress. Representative Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, said the mission to capture Maduro was great for the future of Venezuelans and the region, but he warned that it could hand authoritarian powers a justification for aggression elsewhere. My main concern is now Russia will use this to justify their illegal and barbaric military actions against Ukraine, or China to justify an invasion of Taiwan, he wrote in a social media post. January 3, 2026, 10:03 a.m. ET, 5H ago, Megan Monero. Senator John Thune, the Republican Majority Leader, said the U.S. capture of the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was an important first step to bring him to justice for the drug crimes for which he has been indicted in the United States. He called the operation a decisive action by President Trump. 4 ago, Valerie Hopkins, Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs Sergei Lavrov, said he had spoken to Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez by telephone. Lavrov expressed firm solidarity with the people of Venezuela in the face of armed aggression, and said Moscow would continue to support the government, according to a summary of the conversation published by the ministry.
Thank you for watching this AGNDD Intelli Report, dear viewers. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified during new uploads. And make sure to tune in next time. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers.